So I started engaging with your colleagues, but we thought we should wait for you all. And so it's a good time to start. Good afternoon. I hope everyone is doing well. I want us to quickly discuss the interim assessment. And it's a very quick one. So any questions on that before we start? Very quickly. Do you have any questions on the interim assessment? We should discuss quickly. Please raise your hand if you have a question. Very quickly, please. So we don't have a very lengthy discussion. This is a makeup class for your week 10. We'll still meet on Thursday, but this one is what we would have done in week 10. That I've shifted to my free time this week, so that when I'm not around that week, like I've already communicated to the class, you would have already made up, have used the time to arrange for your exam. So take note, the exam you will do, you will do decomposition, you will use, you will work. It's not just ABC like what we saw there. Okay. You work, you decompose, you test for validity, test for consistency, you do all of those. And so you have to do the rules. I'm thinking of some few questions, maybe 4 or 5 questions that you do in 1.5, 2 hours maybe, just so that you have enough time to work. Which, all right. So that's by way of exam. We have quite a number of in-classes exercises that we've done, which will augment, will add to. So that some are 10, so the group work, for example, was over 20 for City Campus. If you are a main campus student, we've had in-class, quite a number of them, they're all here. So I'll upload those to make up for the 20 left. And then, of course, our regular +1, +2 will be there, plus your your final exam. So the I is 30. This one is 10 here, 10 here, then the 30 there. And of course, then we can grade from there. But generally, it was okay. So I just want to mop up and take questions if you have any. Please, let's do this very fast. You see, I stopped the earlier recording, but I don't want it to be too lengthy when it is not really on substance. Oh, it becomes difficult to engage it, and you need it. Okay, so I want to try and make it as short as you can, and yet full of substance. Okay, so this is the Sakai site. I'm going to the pool, and then I'll look at the general. Everybody should be ready. If I ask the question, then you answer. If you don't answer, then I move on. Okay, so these are my pools. I think I use 3 or 4 different pools, but I'll project 1 or 2 of them and we'll discuss. Okay, that's it. I'll stop projecting it. I'm coming. Very good. I have it now. Let me preview so the whole set will come. You can easily see it. Okay. Now I'll share that. Question 1 says, what is the logical negation of an inconsistent formula? All of us, what should you be looking for, please? What answer should you be looking for? Tautology. And it is not there. It's not in the answers. The answers are consistent formula, equivalent formula, valid formula. So that should tell you that the answer is none of the given questions. That's all. Question 2 says, which of the following correctly captures Aristotle's principle of non-contradiction? Look at the answers very well. A says, no statement can be both true or false. That's not what Aristotle says. It's not a question of true or false. It's true and false. It's a conjunction of a statement and its own negation. That is what creates the problem of contradiction. That's why you close that branch or that path of the tree if you notice a contradiction on that line. What is a contradiction then? Contradiction just means you are saying something and that is own negation at the same time and in the same respect. And that is what we want to avoid, okay? So if you did that, you will be breaking Aristotle's principle of non-contradiction. So the correct one is the D. Look at C and D, they look so alike. But one is saying or here and the other one is saying and. And the end one is the correct one. We did that on main campus today. So I think that's why some are not with us. They are also checked. Every statement is either true or false states what? Aristotle's law of the excluded middle. The middle is excluded. It is not a sense of disjunction or inclusive sense of no. It is saying that every statement you have is either true or false. That's the law. Okay, I pause for questions. Is there any question? Raise your hand now if you have a question. If you have any questions, please, this is the time to ask them quickly. Okay. I suppose you are interested in hearing more. So let's move. One of Aristotle's laws of thought can be rendered as I am that I am. Which one is that? The law of identity. I am what I am. The law of identity says A is A. That's why you cannot say A, which is true down here. Once you climb up the same path, the A which was true has become false at the top there. So P, which is true here, as you climb up, the path has become false. That is not P. You can't admit that because it is also undermining the identity of P. The law of identity says A is A. I am what I am. The two types of consistency are, these are all easy questions, contingency and tautology. You know that, right? Maybe some of them I shouldn't show the possible answers here. So let me add this one. The statement, my mother is either cooking or she's watching telenovela. It's a typical example. I'm asking about the type of disjunction, in terms of meaning that is at play. Is it inclusive or exclusive? My mother is either watching TV. It's inclusive. Well done. She's talking too much. The sister says, oh, don't talk plenty. We got it. It's true. It's inclusive. It means my mother can be both watching TV and at the same time eating, watching the telenovela and eating or cooking, whichever one, at the same time. So you are dealing with the inclusive sense of disjunction. It includes both. And that is the point, the whole point. Let's add a few more. A rule of replacement is also called what? A rule of inference. Hey. That's the wrong one there. A rule of replacement is also called a rule of equivalence. Equivalence, equal value. Look at it. If it is a rule of replacement, it can replace it. It means their value, the two formulas value are the same. That's why one can replace the other. So they are equivalent, the same, equivalent value. Not rule of inference or deduction. One of these are the tricky ones. One of Copy's rules of inference, I'm one of them. A negation of any of my alternatives leads necessarily to a conclusion of the other. Which one will it be? Read the answer away. If you negate one of my options, then the conclusion of that argument will be the other one. It's disjunctive syllogism. I hope everyone can see that now. Don't forget to, I say P or Q. Then I move to the next premise and I say not P. Then what will follow is therefore Q. P or Q, not P, then you can conclude therefore Q. So it is disjunctive syllogism that has that feature. Keep it in mind. Now, question 9 says, I'm one of Copy's rules of inference. All my components are universals or conditionals. You don't have to continue. That's exact immediately hypothetical syllogism. But just in case someone thinks it's absorption or something like that, let's see. In my premises, a consequent is also an antecedent. Voila, we have hit it. It's hypothetical syllogism. All A's are B's, and all B's are themselves C's. Then you can conclude all A's are C's. So all of them are universals or conditional, and the consequent in a premise 1 is the antecedent in premise 2. I hope you get it. May I have one of you read the next one? I want to take water. So one of you should read for me. Raise your hand if you will read. Thank you, Portia. Go ahead.
I am one of Copy's rules of inference. My conclusion is one of the conjuncts that constitutes my single premise. Who am I?
My conjunct. Doesn't that tell you I did it a conjunction already? One of my conjuncts is my conclusion. That's all. My conclusion is one of the conjuncts that make up my premise, my single premise. I have only one premise. That's conjunction. Hey, that's simplification. The compound is the conjunct, but simplification says if I have P conjunction Q, I can say therefore one of them. So therefore P. If I have two conjoined, I can say therefore that I have one. That's simplification. You simplify the matter. Don't talk plenty. Okay, that's simplification. First, please read this one too.
In addition, there is a single ... and the main connective is ...
Very good. I don't think that this is difficult. In addition, there is a single, this one, someone was asking about the A part when we discussed on campus. In addition, there is a single ... and the main connective is ... Okay. You may think that, oh, I could say either A or B. Look at the options for A or B. They all talk about premise and then a disjunction. The B talks about conclusion and a disjunction. So you have to be minded which one will be the most appropriate. Look at that. In addition, when you have the rule of inference called addition, there is a single conclusion. The conclusion is one. And the main connective of that conclusion is what? A disjunction. That's why I wouldn't go for there is a single premise and the main connective is because it's ambiguous. The main connective of what? Is it of the premise or the conclusion? But if you choose the conclusion, which is the B, it's easier because the conclusion is the one that is P or Q. When you have an addition, you start from P and conclude therefore P or Q. And so the B looks like a better alternative. Look at De Morgan's law. It operates on what? Even without looking.
Madam, please, I don't understand the addition.
What don't you understand, please? Hold on. What don't you understand? Which question?
The addition question. The one that we just
put it back. Yeah, so that is addition. In that argument, what is the rule for addition? Use P and Q and construct the argument for rule of inference called addition. Let me see. Who is speaking?
Right.
Huh?
Bright.
Yeah, right. So go ahead. What's the rule of addition? Use the variables P and Q to construct the rule of inference called addition.
Okay. A, therefore.
I say use P and Q. Okay.
Sorry. Okay. Okay. P, therefore Q, P or Q.
Good. So you know that. So from your single P, look on my screen now. From your single P, what is it? You conclude. Look, in addition, there is a single what? You can say a single premise. The conclusion is also single. It's one formula there. It's not more than one. So in addition, there is a single so and so and so. And the main connective of that thing, that single whatever, whether you chose premise or conclusion, now that's what will help us know which one we are looking for. The main connective of that is dot dot dot. It can be C and D. It can be D, all of the given options, because all of them are not correct. So we take D out. We're trying to look at the options and choose which one. Conjunction is not part of addition. The formula called conjunction and the operative symbol. So it can be C either. Are you following right?
Yes, please.
Okay, so C and D options are out. Now we are looking at A and B. That's what I was doing with you earlier. We want to know for both options A and B, there is disjunction there. We know that the main connective operating in an addition formula is a disjunction. So now what is making the difference is, are we looking at premise or conclusion? That's where we are. Now the question said, in addition, there is a single, so let's presume we took conclusion, which is the B. There is a single conclusion, and the main connective, we are talking conclusion now, and the main connective of that conclusion is what? A disjunction. That would be correct. If you go and choose the A option, which says premise and a disjunction, it says in addition, suppose you said there is a single premise, that will also look fine until you say, and the main connective of that premise is a disjunction. That's wrong. Your premise in your own argument didn't have a compound, a connective in it. That's the whole thing I said. That's why the answer is B.
Thank you, Doc. I get it.
It's better. Welcome. Okay.
Yes,
So we
yes,
move on.
please.
You. And so De Morgan's law is what we saw, and De Morgan operates on conjunction and disjunction. That's a straightforward thing. If you go and choose biconditional or antecedent and consequent or commutation, you are confused. It's straightforward. A negation on a conjunction by De Morgan's law will become a disjunction with both disjuncts negated. And a negation on a disjunction would become a conjunction with both conjuncts negated. That's an application of De Morgan's law to help expand. You know that. So De Morgan's law is a negated disjunction moving into become a conjunction of two parts, or a negated conjunction moving into become a disjunction with both disjuncts negated. You don't negate a biconditional and expand it by De Morgan's law. You can't do that. If it's a conditional, you first have to change the conditional to disjunction by material implication before De Morgan can work on it. Okay, so De Morgan operates on conjunction and disjunction. Someone read this for me, so let's have some hands up. Apart from Portia, someone else. Very quickly, please. Don't drag the session here. Please raise your hand if you want to read for us. Okay, Portia, read for me. Thank you.
By the
Oh, your reception is not good, my dear. Try again, let's.
The statement not raining. By the statement it is not raining or the ground is wet will become.
Okay. I think we skipped one. So let me see. We skipped if, the one at the top there. See, if is to antecedent as provided is to what? Someone will say, oh, they are very consequent. It's a lie. It's not consequent. Can you see that? If introduces antecedent, just as provided also introduces what? Antecedent. It's still antecedent. Provided acts like if. They are the same, logically speaking. If I say, I will pass, if I study, it's the same as saying, I will pass, provided I study. So provided also introduces antecedent. And that should stick. It should help you in your final exam now. By the rule of material implication, the statement, it is not raining or the ground is wet, will become what? What will be the answer? It is not raining or the ground is wet. If you were to symbolize it, yeah, if you were to symbolize it and turn it by material implication to its counterpart, it will be what? Not raining, disjunction, ground is wet. Not P, disjunction Q. That is it. Then you convert it by material implication, it will become if raining, then ground is wet. P conditional Q. That's what the answer is. Any questions with that before I continue? Okay, you see it now. How many have gotten everything correct so far? Hey, this one was a Kumi also. It's just for rehearsals. They do fine, don't worry. Okay, so let's go to question. The next question. One of Copy's rules of equivalence only changes the position of the conjunct.
That is all.
You like objectives. You see how we release it. When you finish, guys, it was done. Someone said he wanted to eat before I released it. That's why I waited and released it the next day. And can release it right after all of you were done. 2 hours or 3 hours after. But I release people will see that. Don't worry, it's good. I was very impressed by the people because what I was looking for, not looking for us in I don't have faith. I told the main campus I was anticipating 9. So if you ask anybody, they'll tell you my eyes are tougher than my final exam because eye shakes you. It makes you steady. Like when you finish scooping the rice and fetching it into the sack, and you want to make sure it's ready to pack. You want to feel it, so you shake it together, running over. You lift it and put. Before when you finish, look, I didn't know how you have fed. You thought, oh, wait, 28, 28, what, 26, 22, and things. I said, chill, let me release it for you to see. Still very excellent performance, but it helps you see. So that's what I'm taking you through. I want you to see the things that you didn't give particular detail, like the principle of non-contradiction. One statement cannot be both true and is the word, and false at the same time. One statement cannot be true or false at the same time. They are not the same. You have to be particular about that detail. Else you can send somebody's daughter to death before her time if you were a medical doctor. Or you could sell out your client without knowing that that's what you've done. If you were a lawyer, you didn't look at the document. The if and the but, or and but are not the same. The logic of it are different. So you have to see it. We are training ourselves to do that. Read instructions, keep it, keep yourself aligned, and that's all. So this one helps you to polish it. And I'm saying that, well, if you like, I can project the performance. You see, anything more than half the mark, an excellent performer. You're still an A contender. Yeah, it is the singles that are giving up their A position, and we hope that they mop up, they're filling the gap. Yeah, that's how you grade. Grading is not marking. You look at the standard, the way they are working. That's why 0, someone may get 0, another gets 44. And the University of Ghana says you all belong to the same scale when we are grading you. Understand? Yeah, that's grading. You gather all and put at one side. Then someone can get 80, meaning the person got 20 wrongs, and you can get 100, perfect score. You and that person stand on the same grade. It's a grading scale. So there's a difference between marking, or if you like, examining. Examining, you have set questions to examine, then marking that per the scheme of the exam, and grading, you grade to group people together. See that? It's a very good performance. I told your TAs that I'll eat gobe, but they've done well. So have that in mind. You were expecting 29 by 30 there. Hey, I'm a senior lecturer. And it is logic. And it is interim assessment. It's meant to make you see. So you see the questions. I'm showing them. I'm not hiding anything. It's not like it was in some container, but the woman didn't let anybody see. Now we don't know what. No. That's what I'm projecting. It's recorded. I'll share it. So you see it yourself. See? So Copy's rules of equivalence on our screen now only changes the positions of the conjuncts or disjuncts, but does not change their true value. So which one does that? Doesn't change the truth value of that formula when you shift it to the other side. Which one? It's commutation. When you commute, you only change positions. So if it was P or Q, I said even of what? Conjuncts or disjuncts. That should tell you I deal with a conjunction or a disjunction. You can't bring transposition in. Transposition says P conditional Q becomes not Q conditional not P. It doesn't only change their position, it changes their value from positive to negative. See that? And transposition doesn't have a conjunct. It's dealing with a conditional, which is what antecedent and consequent. Right, so commutation. I am one of Copy's rules of inference. My conclusion is a disjunction, but I am not addition. Who am I? Let me see someone. Oh, I've showed the answer. I think I'm with the answers. I forgot it. It's constructive dilemma. I'm sure this one, if Jacob is here, you know it. City Campus Jacob. Because he knew constructive dilemma. Are you here, Jacob? Or maybe he's in the class, so he'll come for the recording. Okay. This is a makeup class, remember, for week 10. We'll still meet on Thursday for our week 9. I'm just filling in the gap for week 10. And my free time, a little time I can free myself is today. So look at the next one. I'm one of Copy's rules of inference. My conclusion is a disjunction, but I am not addition. Your friend Bright just said, if I have P, I can conclude therefore P disjunction Q. So that conclusion was a disjunction expressing addition rule. But I have told you here that I'm not looking for addition. I'm looking for someone else. It's constructive dilemma. Constructive dilemma we learned together in all the classes has 4 variables. P conditional Q into bracket, or conjunction, R conditional S into bracket. That's the first premise, 4 variables. Then the next premise takes the antecedents and put them together with a disjunction. So next premise is P disjunction R. In conclusion now takes the consequence and puts them together with a disjunction. You remember? So the conclusion of constructive dilemma is a disjunction. Any questions? I'll continue from there.
Madam, please, can you give
Yes,
me
sir.
an example of constructive dilemma in the natural language?
Which example? In natural language, you should do that. It's one of your exam questions, I think. So you should do that. If I am your friend, then I will. Okay, let's use if I study. If I study, then I'll pass. And if I traveled, then I had a passport. That's my first premise. You see that there are 4 different variables. They are not the same. X studied, X passed, X traveled, X had a passport. 4 different variables. If I study, then I'll pass. And if I travel, then I'll have a passport. That's the first premise. The next premise says, I am either studying or traveling. Therefore, I either have passed or I have a passport. Finished. That's what I've done. Also, you check. Alright. Did you get it?
Yes, please.
Okay. So you can just get 4 variables. It doesn't have to make a sound argument. Remember, validity is not soundness. So you can say X is flying, X is eating, X is whatever, jumping, X is singing. 4 variables. They are all statements. X is jumping, can be true or false. So you have these 4. You say if X is jumping, then X is flying. And if, sir, just that. It doesn't have to be sound. Otherwise, you waste time looking for a sound argument when the emphasis is on validity. Okay, so that's constructive dilemma. Here again, the dot order is sufficient for the dot order. Antecedent is sufficient. Consequent is next. This thing I have said it. Everything I have said so far. I'm sure some of you are saying, this thing the woman said them. Yeah. Doc said all this. Like the way Jesus told the disciples, one of you will betray me. Come and see Peter. Me, Peter. I will never betray you. Your God will be my God. Yeah, this will be my Agent Peter. They said before the cock crows twice, you would have betrayed me 3 times. You. I prayed for you more. When you finish, you yourself, strengthen yourself, strengthen your brothers. Because you, the way they wanted to sift you, the enemy wanted to sift you like this. I mean, I prayed for you. I told you before. So everything you check. Some of you are saying, yeah, sufficiency, I'm pam. I'm not doing any. Exam 2 is the same things are action. Action decomposition, logical equivalences. You will use the rules. You will test for consistency and type of consistency, both on the trees and on the table. You should be able to show why you would say 2 formulas are logically equivalent. If I gave you an argument, you should be able to tell whether it is valid or not, and you should know the process of doing that. One of you should read this one for me. Okay, so if Portia is not there, Collins, you can read for me. Come in. Collins can read. Another Jemfi is ready to read for me. Go ahead. Please go ahead. Read it. We have done the sufficient. Okay. Let's do this. Question 18 now. Please read. If
the consequence is
sufficient.
Perfect.
Go ahead. Correct. The consequent is, see the answer there. Consequent describes necessary condition. What is necessary? Antecedent is the sufficient condition. That's all. You should know it now. Because this one, you had options. Final exam, you will write broth and logic, and you will do well too. Okay. How about both necessary and sufficient? Look out for this. Everybody knows from class, you know that both necessary and sufficient represent biconditional. So people who are not careful and patient will choose A, which is a biconditional. But you will choose and get it wrong. Not because you don't know, it's because you are late. You are rushing, you're not patient. Look at the B. B says equivalence is the same as biconditional. So when I say both necessary and sufficient, I'm saying biconditional. If you said equivalence, we are saying the same thing. So the answer should be C, all of the above. Do you know what this will teach anyone who may have gotten it wrong? Patience. Patience. Don't apply instant justice because you thought you saw it. Don't be in a hurry to judge people. Maybe their position relative to the matter is what is making them see it that way. It doesn't mean there are no objective truths. We learned idealism. But it just means you have to be patient and try and see if you can see the person's view. The W that I see because of where I'm positioned will be M for the one standing opposite to me. Patience. Patience. Both necessary and sufficient described biconditional. They also describe equivalence. And so the best option is to choose all of the above. Question 20. I'll mute myself. I have to respond to the query. So read that for me. Ernestina, please read that for me. Question 20. I'll come to the next game.
Okay.
What will be the truth value of this proposition? I have either a savings account or a current account. If, madam, please, I can't see the rest.
Oh, sir. And let's see now. Have you left your space? You're right. Don't mind me. Hey, listen now. Did you get 30 over 30?
Madam,
Continue, don't
if
mind
I
me. If you got
actually
30
have
crack, my
both,
name is not Nancy. Hey.
madam, you my face was small.
Oh, don't worry. You'll do fine. Whichever mark
All
you have
right.
there could be times two. That's why I keep telling you that, chef. I just wanted you to go through the grilling. Understand? People were too complacent. They felt that was course now. You have it covered. Not a single perfect score. I've gone through the thing. Since the big girl, you are three. Upon no, I say I was the one. I confess. I've come. Until read it, don't mind me. He said I never came to lecture. It was just a revision week, when we're preparing to write. And I say, this cause I can't do that. If you do that, you will even know you got it wrong. And I said, not there, read there. What will be the truth value of this proposition?
Yes. Okay. What will be the truth value of this proposition? I have either a savings account or a current account. If I actually have both accounts,
Good. The thing, the person said, I have either. This is just like the group work you did. The group work one that I came to elaborate on in class. I have either savings or current. When I was finishing, I even told you that. That means if you were an investigator and they said there's money in that account, you would not go and check the other one. That's not good. You should check the other. Just in case you found money in the first one, doesn't mean there can't be money in the second. Check both, because the inclusive sense of disjunction allows for the possibility that there is money in both. Okay, so I have either a savings account or a current account. If it turns out that I had money in both accounts, or I have both accounts, what will it mean for my disjunction? My disjunction remains true. There's nothing wrong. I said A or B and both happened. It's still disjunction, the inclusive sense. Well done. If a conditional has a false antecedent, if anyone got this question wrong, I don't know what to do. A false antecedent means what? Means what? It is true. Because the tester, what you use to test is the antecedent. And by you can't test the whole formula. Okay, so as soon as the antecedent is false, it means that the conditional is already true. That means it is innocently true. So you can't prove it to be false. Said this for a dot, if both alternatives had the same truth value, then the compound will be true. It's a biconditional, either they are true together or false together, will make the whole thing true. Okay. Both alternatives have to have the same truth value. Let me pause. Any questions? We have 4 more on that list. Okay, I don't see any questions, so we continue. I'm coming, guys. Okay. Now 23 says, however, yet plus and end are approximate English translations for the compound called conjunction. Is what we are looking for. If you come inside conditional, biconditional, disjunction. So the answer is none of the above. The word unless describes a disjunction. We all know that, which can also be a by the rule of material implication. It can also become what? A conditional. If I have not P disjunction Q, that's the same as P conditional Q by material implication. So the disjunction converts into a conditional by material implication. In a consistent argument, there is at least one open branch. It may be more, but we should have at least one branch open. Otherwise, the formula cannot be said to be consistent. As it open is a word. Then a tautology means after you decompose your consistent formula, the negated formula had all branches closed. All branches closed means it became inconsistent. So the word I'm looking for is closed. See it there? With table analysis, contingency means all the outcomes were true. Is this statement true? It's just someone was in and said, The true, is it the true of the contingency or the true of the statement? That's a matter. Then people are confused. Oh, very good. It's a good sign. When you do table analysis, contingency means some were true and some were false. You can't say all the outcomes were true. That would be tautology. So if it was a contingency, it cannot mean that all were true. That's why this statement is a false one. I'm done with the first platoon. Any quaison. These ones were worth 1 mark each. Let me take you to the one that were worth 3 marks each. There are not many. I asked the system to pick 3 or so from there and 2 from the other part. And 3 from here. It's a mixture. Okay. All right. So that one, where will I pick it from? I have to stop sharing this because people are working. Any questions? How do you test for validity of an argument? Quickly. Raise your hand. Let's say if we're testing for the validity of modus tollens, how will you check for validity? Oh, there's a hand up. Ernestina, go ahead.
All right, madam, you negate the conclusion.
Very good. And then what?
And then you solve. Either you solve using the tree. And at the end, if it is consistent, meaning it is invalid, but if it is inconsistent, meaning it is valid.
Well done. That is it. It's very correct. That's how to test for validity. How do we test for consistency, class? I'm trying to polish up as I find the second book. That book, I mean, campus, we didn't finish. We thought we were okay. We got the trust of the matter. So how do we test for consistency? I want more hands up. Yes, our time be best so. Time next one. One, I will bet you that. Okay. I think I have the pool I'm looking for. So that one should take us just about 5 minutes. We are done. Please, how do we test for consistency? Brother, you can't raise your hand there. Your gadget doesn't allow you to raise your hand. Or you didn't think of it. Okay, go ahead. I want to know who so I can address you. That's why. I don't like that. But go ahead. Go ahead. Let's go.
Sorry.
It's okay. Right.
Testing for consistency, you decompose the given formula. Then if you want to know the type of consistency, you negate the whole formula. Then you decompose again.
Good. Thank you very much. If it's just consistency you're testing, then after your decomposition, just analyze the formula. That's read the trees, the paths on it. If there's no consistency in a branch and you open it, that open branch is enough to make the whole formula consistent. That is on the tree. On the table, consistency just means after you did the plotting, you analyze the formula, the main formula you did the plotting for. Check if there is any way of making it true at all. If there is at least one true under that formula, it is enough to make the formula consistent. That's consistent. All right, now my screen. These ones, I'll walk you through them quickly. Look, they are 3 points each. If you get it wrong, you lose 3. Mood. But if you get it correct, like science and maths, the radial part. So watch. The logical equivalence of P or P, I enlarge it a bit, by commutation and tautology respectively are P or P by commutation will still be P or P. If they change position, it will still be P or P. That's why if you look at A, B, C, they are all P or P, so they don't make any difference. What is tautology? Tautology says if I have P, it's the same as P or P, which is the same as P and P. So look at A, it's correct. Look at B, it's also correct. C is also correct. So the answer is all the given options correctly describe the stated equivalences. The statement I will come to class unless I go to church. That one, the first statement, unless I go to church. Unless it's what? A disjunction. It could also be a conditional. So you leave it open for now. But I'll go for a disjunction first. Let's see the second one, which is obvious. That one will help you know which option is there because it's a symbolization. The second formula says not A disjunction B. It is not a negation. No. The second formula is a disjunction whose left disjunct is negated, whose right disjunct doesn't have any problem. So if the second formula is a disjunction, then we can make that one our check. Simple. Look at the A. The second one is material implication. What is there is not material implication. B is a negated conjunction. What is there is not a negated conjunction. So you see, I'm ignoring the first part, which may have confused someone. I'm looking at the second one. The D says the second one is a negation. It is not negation. It's not a disjunction B. So it's a disjunction. Therefore, the appropriate answer is the C, which says the first part is a disjunction. The second is also a disjunction. 3 marks gone. Any questions? I'll do 2 more of those types. I think we can call it an afternoon. I'll meet you on Thursday, God willing. The various sessions. Okay, so 3 says in a tree analysis, a formula is described as a dodo when it is originally dodo and remains consistent even after negating the original formula. In a tree analysis, a formula is described as a when it is originally consistent and remains consistent even after negation. And I was saying, so it's originally consistent and its negation became consistent. Then it tells you that the formula is what? The contingency. You will add plenty salt to the food, right? Say it's sweet. When there was no plenty salt, you still say it's sweet. Then you know you're a suspect. You don't kind of correct. Don't speak the truth always. You're like this and like that. Because we have negated the thing. We expect that you react. Looks like today something is today you say, oh, you there's always sweet. Then you don't tell the truth. So what? So if the original is consistent and its negation become inconsistent, then that tells you that the original formula is a tautology, that type of consistency that is always true. That's the logic. This one is a continuity. I'm sure you got it. Any questions with that? Hey, are you people there? Alima, Collins, Dankwa, David. Oh, you are checking your marks. Are you? You're out there. I have my main and city campus that all mixed together.
Yes, we are here.
I know you are there, but I'm just saying, are you here? Okay. The statement either the COVID-19 patient, this abu, there's a statement that has a lot of abu inside. You thought it was the same. You are not the same. Anytime it was repeated, it's another thing. Those who like depending on others, they say, where you go, maybe the first batch is coming and it said that abu thing. That book is where it comes is hypothetical. You have disturbed the sister. You should have let her go and think by herself, just in case you did that. Because the abuse presented themselves in different ways. I'll show you 2 or 3 of them. Okay. The statement either the COVID-19 patient has been discharged or she has not been discharged describes, this is the exclusive sense. Why? It can't be both. If she has been discharged, she can't at the same time not be discharged. So only one of the alternatives can happen at a time. It can't be both. If one happens, the other one can't happen. So it's exclusive to one of the options. That's why we say it's exclusive sense of disjunction. Someone will go and write disjunctive sense of exclusion. That option 2 is there. Beat and lose 3 marks. Choose the option that best describes the following categorical syllogism. If P happens, then Q will follow. Q, therefore P. That's not valid too. If P, then Q. A valid form will say P, therefore, can conclude Q. That's modus ponens. Or you can say not Q, therefore not P. That would be modus tollens. But if you say P, then Q, Q, therefore P. The consequence. Therefore, we should say it is a mango. Not necessarily. I can hold a fruit and it is not a mango. Even though all mangoes are fruits, I can be holding banana, which shares the space inside the big set of with mango. So mango is here and banana is here. That is why you shouldn't say, if I say all mangoes are fruits, then anything I find which is a fruit is a mango. No, the logic is one is antecedent, the other is consequent, not valid. If I had this formula and I was supposed to create a dictionary for it, the statement said the argument is no P is Y, all Y are Z, therefore no P is Q. What will go into my dictionary formation? Say A, X is P, X is Y, X is Q, X is Z. The answer is all of them. You need a P, you need a Y, you need a Z, you need a Q to be able to symbolize. So all of them are needed. I pause. Any question? If you have a question, just unmute. Maybe you can't find your gadgets icon. So just unmute and ask. You should finish in the next 5 minutes. Any questions? Okay, one of you should read for me. Now, if you read this one for me, time a little. I'll continue. It's not there. You are muted, so read for me. If not, thank you. Go ahead.
I'm here, madam. I'm here.
We are all waiting for you.
Choose the option that best. If the negation. Hello.
I can hear you. Nana JB, have you finished reading?
Hello.
I can hear you. Nana.
My network is bad, but let me read again.
Oh, we had it. I was
Hello.
waiting for the options. I can hear you, Pa, Nana. It's okay. It's okay, eh? So if Abu is COVID-19 positive, then he will cough. If Abu is coughing, then we must take him to the hospital. Then it means if Abu's COVID-19 is positive, if Abu is COVID-19 positive, sorry, then we must take him to hospital. It's hypothetical syllogism. So it will be valid to be consistent. That's all. You don't have to work it. It's just knowing the rule. You should know the rule by looking at the pattern of reasoning. That's all. That's what I'm testing. If the negation of Q implies P, that is, if not Q, then P, what would the negation of the antecedent of this implication be? Just show me how to negate. Sorry, eh? So if it's not Q, then P. What's the negation of your antecedent? It's Q. Finished. Maybe okay. The logical equivalence of P conditional Q by material implication and transposition respectively are. The formula is P conditional Q. Material implication will make it not P disjunction Q. That's the starting point. So A and B are out. Our focus will be on C and D. If I have P conditional Q, material implication turns into not P disjunction Q. C's first statement is like that. D's first statement is like that. So I have hope in those two. The earlier two are out. Now, what is transposition? Or contrapositive? Contra, opposite to the positive. So I started by saying P conditional Q, then it becomes not Q, conditional, not P. That's contrapositive, which is also called transposition. You change their positions and change their value, their worth. So that should tell you that the answer is, I think it's C. Look, we have done enough. Any reason. These are like, it's like that about 4 sets. Then I instruct the system to pick and randomize 2 from here, 5 from here, 7 from here, whatever, to the number that I think you had 20 questions worth 30 marks. Yeah, I'm done. Any questions? 3, 5, 15. Then the other ones, the 1 questions were 5, also 15. Total 30. Which I've stressed, if you made more than half the mark, you are good. Hand is up. Let me take that and then call it a day. I'll meet you on Friday. And I still ask your question, please.
Madam, please, I've joined a little late. So the filling parts, are you done with them already?
Which feeling is that? All the questions were objective, so Or you are talking about where you pick the objective and come to feeling. Okay, let me find some for you. Like this one. Like the one on your
No,
screen, this is it.
madam. We had
Which
a question
feeling?
that we had a question that we typed in.
Hey, which one was that? Maybe one. Which one was that? These are all my questions. I'm not seeing
Yes, so
anywhere that.
madam. Hey, maybe Sakai
Where
changed
is
it
it?
because
Oh,
a lot
Sakai
of people.
would do that. No. Please be careful with a lot. Don't talk a lot. I beg you. You are over 800. If you say a lot of people who accept, what's your research? What's the basis of your a lot of people out of what? These are the questions I'm projecting. Where is the filling the gap? My lady, I will stop sharing and pull your answers out. I won't share it on the screen, but I will look at it. If you share your full name with me, I can find your submission and look at. No. It's so that I will look and see what it is that is there, because the questions you answered will come to me. When I open yours, everything you answered will be there. Then I'll see. Maybe there was one question that is filling the gap. Then I'll look at it. It's just that. So let me stop sharing. Don't worry.
Okay.
Don't worry.
All right.
I'll
Thank
stop
you.
sharing the screen. And it's also say Ernestina. No, let me see. Akusika.
Yes.
Babo, right?
Bavo.
It's fine.
Yes, please.
Babo. Okay, my dear Babo. Let's take the other questions if there are any. Collins, do you have a question? I see that you have unmuted. Collins Daisy.
Yes, I was also talking about the feeling. I
My
also
brother,
have like
don't talk about anything. I'm asking you, what's your question? Go ahead.
no, I don't
was
have a
also
question.
so which feeling? Feeling men away. Let me go and see. Okay. Is there any other question? People's aggression. People tell you are going to get 31 over 30. See, I'm laughing at you. Don't mind me. My people. Okay, so I've opened it. I want to take and I think I've addressed your question. Is there any other one?
Oh,
Sorry,
no,
hand
no.
is still up.
Sorry.
Okay, no
Sorry.
problem. So I'm opening the thing. I want to find yours. And then, Collins, you also say you had a fill in the gap. We'll see shortly. I'm open.
Yes, please.
What was the question? Because the whole pool is what I've done with you. The other ones are all Charlie. Are you sure you read it to the end? Or because of the pressure, you told you are seeing fill in the gap?
Madam, okay, from
Oh,
madam.
let the church be quiet. Auntie, I'm almost there. I've seen your name. Yeah. Hey, but you this marker is still you are talking. I think anybody who had anything more than 20 should go and sleep. People have spoiled my paper. Have made me look small. It's a single people that I've left a if they don't push a little. My lady, I'm seeing your thing here. I don't see any short. Let me go through the pages. I'm not mentioning the mark that you got for them. But this is objective. This is also objective. I'm on your 3 now. It's objective. It's system marked. Question 5, 2, yeah. 6, yeah. 7, yes. Yes, 8 is objective. You got it wrong though. 9 is there. And then 10, yeah. 11. Almost done. Everyone patient. 12, 13, 14, 15. They are all objectives. 16. Oh, I see that one. Okay, I've seen one. The inclusive and the exclusive. Yeah. But it was just one word. So I'm almost done. Even though you got it correct. Okay, I'm coming. It's at the 3 marks place. Okay, so I've seen. And then this one too, no, it's objective. Yeah. It's one, the inclusive and the exclusive. Fill in the gap, which we just had to write them in the objective and say, write down the answer there. That's all. But you got one correct. So the statement describes the inclusive sense of a disjunction. Oh, that one should be correct. It's correct too here. My dear, so I've seen that one. It's one. Yeah, I've seen it. Sir, Davo. Hey, sorry, Sir Collins, eh? Collins, what's your surname? Let me check yours too and see. That short answer question.
Daisy.
Bazy, eh? B-A-S-Z-Y.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me look at that one too. It will be the inclusive and the exclusive. One word each. That
Yeah.
should have come in the possible answer. Then you pick it. Then you say write it.
Okay.
Right. Did it make you write essay or something? Hey!
No.
Did the listener tell you what she got? Ask her in the privacy of her corner. Eh? Ask her, everybody go ask her. Are you two? They say you went to open it. See all this one you have. So Collins,
Oh.
let me finish with yours. It's not
Okay.
Sakai that changed it. It's Oh, Collins, the name I see there is not you, Basie. I see Collins Oben. Oh, you are a main campus student.
Yeah, main campus.
Oh, okay. I'm a city campus. That's why. Okay, let me stop the recording. It's making it too lengthy. But I'll look at your thing for you. It will be just that one question. I've